We enter into worship today with the sound of a chime.
Can we all feel the loudness? Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Look how many brave souls came out today. We have layered on the protections. We have all the windows open. This one's open very wide, and that will be a non-singing corner because we get to sing a couple of hymns today. And also the balcony's open if you want to be up above any possible fray. So I also want to mention that apparently the lock is not working on the bathroom in the upstairs of the parish hall. So you might want to take a door minder if you're really worried about being walked in on. That's being repaired soon, I think. Our chalice lighting this morning is called The Abundance of Our Lives Together by Katie Gelfand. We light our chalice as a symbol of gratitude as we celebrate the abundance of our lives together. In this sanctuary, we harvest bushels of strength for one another and offer our crop with the hands of compassion and generosity. In the authentic and gentle manner of our connections, we cultivate a simple sweetness to brighten our spirits. May we be grateful for the ways we nourish and uplift each other, for it is the sharing of this hallowed time together that sustains us. And our call to worship is in the words of Lorraine McNeil. Today is Father's Day, a day in which we honor and offer gratitude for our fathers in whatever form or fashion they come into our lives. Biological fathers, stepfathers, adoptive and foster fathers, grandfathers, spiritual fathers, and all of the uncles, brothers, and friends who, whether they know it or not, have helped to fill the role of father in someone's life. We're shaped by their presence and their absence, and by how they choose to act and when they abstain, what they say and when they remain silent. Let us remember today and always the impact that these people have on us as individuals and a community. And let us also remember that this relationship is not one-sided, and that we as a community are called to support and empower the fathers of the world, no matter how they came into their roles and regardless of their relative successes or failures. Let us raise up their triumphs, and let us have the grace to forgive them their all too human failures. Let us love our fathers and each other. Come, let us worship together. And now, for the first time in over 2 years, we have an opening hymn we can sing together. Number 123, Spirit of Life. We'll sing it through twice. You are invited to rise in body or spirit. Could you hear Lynda and Pete singing from the balcony? So I have a story for the ages today. Stories are close to This is called Walking with the Wind. I'll read my math one. This is a story about John Lewis, who grew up in a large family, and he would spend time with his aunties and uncles, with his siblings and cousins. There were many. It's not a pardon. Story about John Lewis. There were many children in the neighborhood, and they'd play together. And beg your pardon. This was a long time before pandemic, so people could play together and hang out together. Mr. Lewis tells about a time when he was playing outside his Aunt Savannah's house with about 14 other children when a storm, a big storm, arrived. The kind of storm that made him very afraid. And so now I'll tell that story from his perspective. So it's like he's talking. So when I say I, it'll be like it's John Lewis. Aunt Seneva was the only adult around. And as the sky blackened and the wind grew stronger, she herded us all inside. Her house was not the biggest place around, and it seemed even smaller with so many children squeezed inside. Small and surprisingly quiet. All of the shouting and laughter that had been going on earlier outside had stopped. The wind was howling now, and the house was starting to shake. We were scared. Even Aunt Seneva was scared. And then it got worse. Now the house was beginning to sway. The wood plank flooring beneath us began to bend. And then a corner of the room started lifting up. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. None of us could. This storm was actually pulling the house toward the sky with us inside it. That was when Aunt Seneva told us to grab hands, line up and hold hands, she said, and we did as we were told. Then she had us walk as a group toward the corner of the room that was rising. From the kitchen to the front of the house, we walked, the wind screaming outside, sheets of rain beating on the tin roof. And then we walked back in the other direction as another end of the house began to lift off. And so it went back and forth, 15 children walking with the wind, holding that trembling house down with the weight of our small bodies. Can you imagine what it might have been like inside that house? When John Lewis was much older, and he was writing down the story of his whole astounding life, he wrote these words: "More than a half century has passed since that day, and it has struck me more than once over these many years that our society is not unlike the children in that house, rocked again and again by the winds of one storm or another, the walls around us seeming at times as if they might fly apart. It seemed that way in the 1960s, at the height of the civil rights movement. And when America itself felt as if it might burst at the seams. So much tension, so many storms. But the people of conscience never left the house. They never ran away. They stayed. They came together and they did the best they could, clasping hands and moving toward the corner of the house that was the weakest. And then another corner would lift and we'd go there, and eventually, inevitably, the storm would settle and the house would still stand. But we knew another storm would come, and we would have to do it all over again. And we did, and we still do, all of us, you and I, children holding hands, walking with the wind. Olga played it. My reading this morning is I Believe in Fathering by Eben Carville-Ziemer. And since I tested this morning, and I'm not going to sing for a minute, I can take my mask off. I believe in fathering. I believe in the radical idea that men have the full human capacity to nurture. Hair bows and baseballs, cooking and creativity, tools and tiaras, camping and dancing, snuggles and shrieks of delight. Too many fathers don't believe in their own fathering. Too many are scarred by their own fathers to hear their hearts say otherwise. Too many have known fathers who, faced with a quivering lip and tears, could only say, "Man up." Too many have known fathers who knew only yelling and hitting. Too many have known fathers who lost sight of their sacred role of protector and became tormentor. But I believe in fathering. When a human being gestates and gives birth, their brain changes permanently. Well, a father's brain changes permanently too, as he rocks his baby to sleep, delights in baby games, and soothes bumps and bruises. A father earns his new neurobiology. I believe in the radical idea that men have the full human capacity to nurture, whether their children come through birth, adoption, or fostering, through scouts, sports, or Sunday school, or youth group. I've known too many gay dads, too many single fathers, too many men raising children others couldn't, to believe otherwise. I believe we all, especially our children, deserve to know that the human capacity to nurture belongs to every one of us. I believe in fathering. And now we're going to have a rest hymn. I invite you to rise in body or spirit. Turn to number 1064, those of you who have a hymnal, and we will sing Blue Boat Home. I'm going to come down and sing with you. that was so wonderful to stand there and have everyone's voice around. All right. And I have a tribute for Father's Day. It's by Amy Petrie Shaw called These Are Our Dads. We recognize and honor today every dad who stood as their child shouted at them in anger or frustration. Every dad who tried to understand their child's clothing choices, new hairdo, new tattoo. Every dad who suddenly realized their child might be right and was willing to listen. And every dad who honestly believed they were making the best choices they could. We honor every dad who screwed it up, got it wrong, tried again, got it right, and often went from being the dumbest soul alive to the pinnacle of brilliance and back again in one day, according to his children. These are our dads. We honor and recognize today all those who taught us what they knew and forgave us when we got it wrong. Those who wanted to teach us but left too soon, or simply did not know how to teach at all. Those who walked us to the bathroom in the dark. And those who turned on the lights and waited up for us to come back on our own. Those who let us break their binoculars and steal their shirts, and those who taught us why it was wrong to break and steal. These are our dads. We recognize and honor today all the men who taught us what it means to be honest, even when it was embarrassing, to tell the truth and admit to our faults, to be human. We recognize too those fathers who could not teach us these things because they did not know themselves, but who hoped and prayed that we would do better than they ever did. These are our dads. They are our dads, rich and poor, tall or short, slender as a pole or round as a basketball. These are the men who helped raise us and those who formed us through their actions and their lack of actions. They are our dads, our birth fathers and adoptive fathers, stepfathers and foster dads. These are our dads. Through love, oh, I'm sorry, I missed a whole sentence here. We are all dads, grandfathers and uncles, single moms who've learned to go beyond motherhood, trans dads who've given birth, queer dads and gay dads, and female partners willing to take on the role. They are our dads. Through love and hatred, joy and tears, addiction, mental health issues, perfect health, sickness, aging, wealth and poverty, absence and presence. They are our dads. They are because of us. We are because of them. They are our dads. Happy Father's Day. Our half plate this morning will go to the Minister's Fund. It's in a little need of shoring up. And while I'm on that topic, I want to let you know that should you have an emergency and need something from the Minister's Fund, after I go and before your next minister gets here, it will be Cindy Bushy that you would turn to, and she will have access to that. this service. On Wednesday, when we got together, the brainstorming team, the worship team, and made some picks for today, they weren't very helpful. No, they said, Lynda, this is your day, you pick them. But don't you understand? Making decisions is the hardest thing anymore. You have a service full of my favorites. And this next reading, Wild Geese by Mary Oliver, could be a statement of my faith. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You have only to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clear blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. And here it is, the last sermon. I actually, was looking up, as ministers do, to see what a minister should do when they're retiring, right? And I came across an order of service from a retiring minister who had titled their last sermon, The Last Sermon. I thought that was kind of cute, but I didn't follow suit. I've been in a really quiet and contemplative mood lately because this is a big thing. I've never really moved by myself before. I have never had a professional job before I came here. I mean, I had a job. I raised kids for 35 years, but I didn't make the money I'm making. I didn't even earn any Social Security during that time, so. But it felt so wonderful near the end of my career, my working years, to be able to get trained in something I really love doing. And I have loved being a minister, and I have loved being your minister. Last board meeting, I was pretty quiet. For one thing, having no part in your future that the board's preparing for, I really didn't have anything to say. That has felt kind of weird. And yet at the same time, it has felt just right. In fact, I was so quiet at the last board meeting that Cindy Bushy sent me a note the next morning. Are you okay, just checking in? And I said, yeah. I was quiet because this is hard. It's so hard. And I'm also learning that doing hard things well imbues them with beauty, grace, and even joy. I have been letting that distill on me. Some of the hard and beautiful things we've done together started out with a vigil after the 2016 election. We met here. Another hard and beautiful thing we did together was we put on a full play on the stage, Camelot. And I finally got a leading role in a play. We had some trees in here for a while. We did the series Gifts of the Dark Wood, and it was a forest in our sanctuary. We have worked more on a green campus. We spent a whole year trying to envision what the next generation of religious education and exploration might be good, might be something that's for us. And it's really interesting because although we didn't get the shiny program we had envisioned when we went through all of that discussion, I'm looking at what we have now. That discussion really informed and still informs how RE is being run. So if you have an idea and it doesn't come to fruition right away, give it time, because we're always planting seeds of ideas. And you never know when the universe will come along and say, here's a Cynthia Menard, the person who knows how to put this together. We went through 2 years of pandemic together. Because life happens. Life is what happens when you're planning something else. And the way we've come together to face those challenges has been beautiful, hard and beautiful. We leaned into community. We made those containers where people can meet and mingle and bring gifts and do exciting things. Oh, I'm not saying that's new. It's just that as people come and go and grow up and new ones come along, you have to figure out how to do things all over again, because after a while, the old ways don't work anymore. There's change. You all are change ninjas. Just saying. Not that it's easy, but you're getting really good at this. Holding things lightly, saying, let's try this, let's try that, let's find something. We have an AV system, we have a worship committee, we have an RE program now, and we have buildings and grounds crew. We have music, we have all these things that other ministers really wish they had. You took me on as a brand new minister. You nurtured me and coaxed me through preliminary fellowship so that I could become a UU minister in full fellowship. You pruned my leadership and my styles. Sometimes you said, Lynda, knock it off, or step up to the plate, or dang, you gotta do that. Thank you, thank you, thank you for forming me into a minister. Thank you for sharing your time and your thoughts and your concerns and your hopes and fears and all the feelings. I have grown and blossomed here in this beautiful corner of Gaia's garden. And I will take so much goodness and love in my heart from all of you. You are strong. You have all you need right here to walk into your future with love, grounded in mutual respect, compassion, and seeking common ground. You will be, you are, and you will be great. And I'll be cheering for you from a distance every step of the way. The next 3 weeks will be weeks of ending well. This process, like I said, it's hard, but it also has beauty, grace, and joy. Some of these final conversations are some of the most treasured ones I've ever had. On July 11th, I'll be catching the Amtrak in Framingham and going to the West Coast to be with my family. Until then, I am around for chats, coffee, phone calls. I'll accept meal invitations or walking invitations, no farther than 2 miles, please. Phone calls, text, or a porch visit. And I will be returning keys, taking mounds of household goods to Savers, and figuring out what to do with all those books. I don't know if you saw in the perspective this week, but we now have the beginnings of a little free library in the robing room. Pam made a cute sign for it, which is going to be affixed to this door. It's one of those, you don't have to check it out. It's just there. Bring a book, take a book. I just put the things I thought would be most interesting to this group of people in there. And there's also, the church gets the UU World magazine every month, 3 months. So we're going to put those in there too. So those of you who want to look through it can do that. But know this, please know this. You will always be a part of this minister. You are part of me, just as I will always be part of you. In so many ways, we've changed each other for good. Love is never wasted. Love never dies. It becomes more. And so I am going to leave you, we're going to flip the script a little bit. I'm going to leave you with a benediction before we watch the postlude. When we take fire from our chalice, it does not become less, it becomes more. And so we extinguish our chalice, but we take its light and warmth with us, multiplying their power by all our lives and sharing it with the world. Postlude?
Listen, listen, listen.
think I better put this back on. I'll stand.
Good morning, good afternoon, not sure what time it is now. Can you hear me? We all live our lives in time periods. Some are long, some are short, some are meaningful, maybe not so. But each period prepares us for the next and for all the possibilities that come. So we've been privileged to live through a time period of Reverend Lynda, which is her ministry and her calling and living out that dream of that ministry to be a minister. We welcomed her 6 years ago, and here we are today, helping her move on to the next period of her life, and who knows what possibilities. So we were thinking of how do we send her forth with a companion? In other words, a gift to remember us by. But that gift had to meet certain criteria because it couldn't be too big because there's no room in the car. It has to be able to be carried, so that was a challenge. So then we thought, she loves the earth, the environment, so we thought a gift of the earth. And that's what we came up with. And so that gift initially has a responsibility to convey first our gratitude to her for sharing her life with us, for sharing her talents, her wonderful enthusiasm, and the beautiful noise of her voice, which we will miss in choir. I will miss because I never want to be the only soprano. Anyhow, and the next gift is a gift of remembering, that she remember the relationships that she has developed here, all of us, and the memories, the lessons learned. And the last is a gift of blessing. So as she goes forth, that she had the blessing she needs to listen to whatever life holds for you in the next period. So with all of that, we give you this gift that you need to open now because there's another part to it.
Okay.
No, I'm serious.
Oh my gosh, look at this. Oh.
Now, a drum is a gift of the earth because it's all made from the earth. And my husband will take it from there.
I always am amazed at the synchronicity of things. I shouldn't be because I've been around a long time and things have been synchronistic all my life. I didn't know exactly how I was going to present this and have it a gift going forward, but I did know that we needed to, as Native Americans say, awaken this drum. And to awaken it, that means that you have a stronger connection with Mother Earth. You have a stronger connection to your heart sense, and you have a stronger sense as to where you are going in life. And we know that today was all about doing the adventure now. Start it going forward. And to normally to awaken a drum, the person whose drum is being awakened would be in a lodge or a circle, and everybody in the circle would put a prayer on the drum. I knew that there would be a few people here today, and that would be a little cumbersome, and we'd have tobacco sitting all over the church. I've asked some people who have been significant in her time here, who I know would be honoring the blessing that she brought and to bless her going forward. Now,
Wild geese on the bag. How about that?
guys that I asked will come up here so people, you can stay right there. Would you come? Round in the middle. This is unrehearsed, obviously.
Okay, that's for sure.
When a drum is awakened, people have always asked me, why is tobacco such an important, tobacco is the most sacred of all the sacred herbs in the native world. My answer is always, I don't know. Just is, and I'm not going to change things at this point. But as the presenter of the drum, I'm asking Spirit World to honor every step of her new journey and to know that we, if we can help in any way, will be there. First direction is the East, and Donna's representing the East. And when she drops the tobacco on that, our prayer is that she understands that every day is a new day, that she can trust her intuition. Done very well. And to begin to go on this new journey. And in the South, the prayer is to have the strength to do this, to have the strength to know that she can grow no matter her chronological age or where she's at. We always have the ability to have the strength to walk our own true path. As we go to the West, as Reverend Lynda said, she has spent a lot of time in meditation, in soul searching. This is the area in the native world. The West is where we go to understand our own truths, to know that we have the ability to walk forward in a good way to do this. My favorite place is the North. The North is the home of our ancestors, the home of those who have gone before. It does not mean that they were older than us, but that they've gone before, and we have the ability to listen to their words, to hear their encouragements, to hear their saying, hey, you might be making a false step. We have to listen. Okay? Now, you know, I did this because this drum is a little small. Like this. Okay, now we're going to make a mess. Fun part of awakening drum. We're going to drum a little drum, and you're going to keep it just like that.
Okay.
And you're going to play until all of that tobacco hits Mother Earth. Somehow I knew it would be awakened. She has a strong voice. Last part of this, the song I sang was a song that was gifted to me in Vision Quest. And basically what that song was is to bring blessings to everybody in the community hearing the song, and to bring them good health, and to bring them good times going forward. I was told by the chief who said that that was a song given to me on Vision Quest, that I had to sing it every time that I was in community. Okay? Not always possible when we're going to church, but it certainly was possible today, because every one of you deserves, for being here, for all the blessings that you can take home, to be with, to constantly be in your heart. This is an instrument of prayer. And if you'll allow me, I will take and just play for a minute or two, because it will carry all of our prayers to Creator. We all have strong prayers in our heart, I'm sure. So just indulge for a minute.